Greetings and salutations, fellow cinephiles. As I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hey!
This is the Two Nerds podcast. I like the enthusiasm in that hey.
I try and do it different every time.
And you've done a good job this time. Before we get into our movie homework from 2021, we have all kinds of things for you to click. My books are for sale in the description. You can join us on Discord. You can subscribe to me on Patreon. $5 will get you Journey of Wrestling episodes a week early. And you could also be cool, like Rob and a guy from Ohio. You can follow me on Twitch. You can subscribe to me on Twitch. You can give me your Bezos bucks with Twitch Prime. And like, comment, and subscribe here on YouTube.
So, this is a continuation of a thing we did last year at least, maybe more.
Well, we did it for a whole year, and now just every year we're going to catch up. Like, we went through all of our movie homeworks.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Every year, White and I keep track of every movie we watch with a line we really like from the movie in order. We did that for 2021, the same as we have done for every other year since 2013 for me and 2012 for you. So we're counting down. Or counting up in this case.
Yes. The movies we watched. Yep. And to make up for the mistake we made in the beginning of 2020.
For which we firmly apologize.
Movie number 1 is Saint Young Man from 2013. Well, there's still next year. That would be the quote I picked.
The quote I picked was, "By the way, you know what kind of holiday Christmas is, right?" Well, of course I do. It's the day Santa achieved reindeer-propelled flight.
Delightful. In case you're new here, this is a delightful slice of lifestyle anime about Jesus Christ and Buddha taking a vacation in Japan, roughly modern day.
It is a holiday tradition. We watch it every New Year's. And we're going to continue to do so. We made a choice one year to try and, mark a new era. A new start, a fresh start. We were going to watch something else. We didn't watch Saint Young Men. That was 2020. That was a fucking mistake. So we're not doing that anymore.
We're not necessarily superstitious people, but you know what? It doesn't hurt me to watch a movie that I like. Then next up was Doctor Strange from 2016.
Yes, we were in the middle of a MCU rewatch in the lead up to the new movies. And also catching up a friend with the MCU who hadn't watched them all. I chose, you really should have stolen the whole book because the warnings come after the spells.
What, like the Bob Seger song? I on reviewing, I didn't dislike this film as much, but I still think it's one of the weakest MCU films.
On reviewing, I really like this movie. It does not feel like an MCU movie. It is, I've never been able to pinpoint why. It just doesn't have the right vibe. No. Its energies are different, and that's not bad, but it certainly doesn't feel the same.
Right.
I do really like it still, though.
I'm also glad we have so much of Doctor Strange, the Doctor Strange character I enjoy now.
Yeah, because Doctor Strange in all his appearances after this feels like Doctor Strange. He gets the vibe in his next appearance.
So that means, logically speaking, that next is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 from 2017. It's called Dune. It's what everybody's listening to on Earth nowadays.
Well, of course not.
Sounds like a call and response, but it isn't. We love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies a lot. I love 2 especially. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is a very emotionally affecting movie for me. And that hasn't changed. It's more so now because I'm old enough that my testosterone has dropped and I'm a great big bitch. So I cry.
Cool. Thank you, bitch, for telling me about all your tears. We then watched School of Rock from 2003.
This is a great movie. It has been so long since I've seen it. I believe you hadn't seen it.
No, I had not.
I chose a line from the song at the end of the movie. This is my final exam. Now you all know who I am. I may not be that perfect son, but y'all be rocking when I'm done. In-universe, written by one of the kids. It's a really good summation of the movie.
I chose, would you tell Picasso to sell one of his guitars?
Because that is also a good summation of the movie.
Yeah, that's... Do you think I came out fucking pussy drawing Mozart? Powerful.
Fucking... This movie's a great kids movie. Like...
Yeah, it was really fun.
It is a kids movie.
Yeah.
It's very much so. But it is... It's a really good one. It's got a really good positive message. Jack Black is very entertaining. And I had forgotten how much I liked it.
I had a lot of fun with it. I'd never seen it before, and it was a good time.
Then you watched a thing I sure as fuck didn't watch. He has a lot more movies than me.
Yes. So I like Brendan Small's music, and he has a band called Galacticon, or it might just be him. You can never tell. They did a short film of several of their songs called Galacticon Nightmare. And I chose a lyric from one of the songs because there's no dialogue. I'm ready to serve my planet now. Very interesting, extended music video is what I would probably call it. But it's got a lot of cool visuals.
And it called itself a short film, so it counts. So it goes on the list.
Yes, that is the rule. Then comparing it and showing it to someone else, I had to talk about, which will become relevant very soon.
I might watch this, actually.
The short film music video for Light Up the Night by the Proto Men. What was the boy's name? Did he accomplish his mission? This is my favorite song.
Yeah, you love Light Up the Night.
I do. I believe in the message, and from Dr. Light, and it's just cool as fuck. I love the music. But this is interesting play because I showed this to my girlfriend. And she was like, man, this reminds me of a movie. But that comes a little bit later.
Yeah, you have we're in March for me at this point. I do not do this shit on time, so not exactly lined up.
Wild. I feel like you watched The Wizard with us, which is my next movie.
I absolutely did not.
Okay, I guess you must have been doing something else. I could have sworn you were in the room.
I was in the room. I was on my headphones. I was listening to something else.
The Wizard, yes, the 1989 movie about Nintendo games and Mario Brothers 3 extended ad. Holds up a hell of a lot better than I thought for a dumbass like road trippy kids movie. It was really fun. I had a good time.
Was it as earnest as I remember it being?
Oh yeah, 100% played straight. There was no tongue in cheek. Beautiful.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. I don't get scared was the quote I chose because I liked that about the girl character whose name escapes me. But good times. Let's match back up with The Shining.
Yes. So The Shining is a movie I have an interesting relationship with because I like the book a lot, and the movie is a very different thing. He really went his own way with it. Famously so, in fact.
Yeah.
But I also really like the movie. However, I did choose, Larry, just between you and me, we got a very serious problem with the people taking care of the place. They turned out to be completely unreliable assholes.
I love that whole conversation.
It was so fucking banal and normal and perfect.
Well, and it's nice, like, directorially speaking, to provide contrast to the absolute shit show that's going on in the Overlook to, hey man, I need to borrow your snowcat.
It's just a little tiny piece of the world that it's still moving even if the Overlook is going crazy.
The quote I chose was, "Great party, isn't it?" And of course the picture I chose was bear blowjob.
Because of course you did.
Like when I first saw this film, it was my Beetlejuice watching The Exorcist. I laughed my ass off. This was like the first proper horror film I watched. I had seen the Tommyknockers on TV, which was, kind of introduced me to the horror genre. And I was in my teens by this point, so like it wasn't, 9-year-old me freaking out. No, I just didn't expect it to be such a fucking romp, and it was.
This movie, look, if you're not scared by this movie's fucking hilarious.
And then I got to this, and I love the man's face is like, can I help you? And that the bear is like, are you in on this? And then Wendy's all like, what the fuck? Like, if you're walking through a house of horrors and you just see a furry getting off and you're like, wait, this is my least favorite part. I saw a guy flayed alive and I just was not ready for this.
I didn't sign up for this. This is not what I wanted out of life.
Some more in-betweens here for you and me. I watched Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice.
Still haven't seen that movie. Still not gonna.
The ending was really good. Like, the last 45-ish minutes, solid as fuck.
That's where Martha happens. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, it's still really dumb. It's really fucking stupid. Not as bad as people say it is, but that's not... We're talking about death by degrees here.
Yeah, it's not as dumb as people say, but it is still very stupid.
Yes, it is still very stupid. But it was better than the next movie I watched. The quote I used was, "Martha won't die tonight."
Oh, fucking Martha.
Justice League. 2017.
Specifically, the 2017 cut. It's very important because we're going to be here for a minute and I want you guys to understand. Why don't you tell them your thoughts on the 2017 cut of Justice League?
I have before. We, in fact, did a podcast about that movie. Well, the remake, and I shared my thoughts there at the same time.
So, keep it tight.
Bad. You know what? No, I will quote my mother's infamous review of Star Wars Episode 9, which she sent to me in a text message. Strap in. Here it is. All caps. Dumb.
Yeah.
My quote was Dostoevsky because it was the lowest point in that fucking movie, and
the lowest point in a series of very low points.
Yeah, jeez. Ugh. Bleh. Anyway, let's talk about a good movie, huh?
Yep. We rewatched Spider-Man Homecoming. Again, part of our big MCU rewatch. We never rewatched, turns out, Far From Home.
No, it just kind
We only realized that much later.
It just sort of fell out of our grasp. We made a concession that we weren't going to because we were going to wait until this movie.
And then we just forgot.
We just didn't have time.
Whoopsie. Oh, well.
Yeah.
My quote was, I just like coming here to sketch people in crisis.
Mine was, if I knew who he was, he'd already be dead. Which is...
no longer a problem, turns out.
Even still, big good guy move.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Make sure we're still on the same page. We are not. I watched so many movies. So the difference here is I had 40-some of these.
And I have 25.
Yeah, 25.
Which is like an all-time high for me for the last 6 years.
Same. We have been running so low on these. And that's kind of why I'm, skipping past them pretty quick. Because here's your, couple sentence review. I watched the documentary I Know That Voice, which I've been meaning to watch for years.
Yes, I watched this years ago, and I recommended it to you at the time. I believe I watched it, if not in 2013, then sometime later.
It was like 2014.
Yeah.
Maybe. And I really wanted to watch it. It just got away from me. And I've seen most of it in clips on Tumblr since then. But there's a bunch of us who say that we literally get fired after every job. And that sort of mentality to live by on your day-to-day thing, you got bills to pay. That fear and that terror that comes with that, I think, sort of subsides when you're so grateful every day for that job when that day does come. And I didn't start doing voiceover full-time until I was 40 years old, which is a long, rambling sentence to say there is still hope for you, 36-year-old failed writer. There is still hope for you.
Mark Hamill gives hope to all.
I believe that was Kevin.
That might have been Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, I just used the Mark Hamill picture because it was...
Look at him. He's in his robe.
He's very frank. Yeah, he's almost naked for some reason.
Then we watched the good version. The only version of Justice League I've seen. At his suggestion, we watched that. And at his suggestion, I have never watched the other version. And won't.
It's not worth it. Unless you specifically want to see how you can take the same basic premise, how much editing can save a fucking movie.
I think they'll probably watch this in film classes to show that.
Sure.
My quote was, "For once, I'm operating strictly on faith."
I went with the power of love. I like that a lot more, that film. We've got a whole podcast on it, so if you want our thoughts, go check that out.
We got a lot of movies to get through, folks.
Yeah, we do have a lot of movies to get through. Hey, guess what? I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1990 movie.
How many times this year?
Just once. I meant to watch it again, but it just didn't happen. Expect it to be on next year's list pretty early. Here it goes. What are we on? G? Here it goes, Gackface. I'm ready, hose brain. Then I had to watch Ninja Turtles 2.
Because if you watch one, you watch two.
From 1991. Hey, yeah, well, hi. We were looking for a muffler for a 77 Chevy. That was in the junkyard when Raphael's getting attacked by the Foot Clan. He's trying to play it off. I watched a short film, Power Rangers Unauthorized, from 2015. Bullshit is an ugly color on you. I prefer pink. It was.
I kind of meant to watch that, but like,
it was all right. It was all right. Nothing crazy good, but I had a fun time watching it. Yes.
And then Thor Ragnarok is a part of our big Marvel rewatch, for which I chose Hulk. No, just for once in your life, don't smash. But big monster.
What a great line. I picked. I love when you come to visit 142. You keep bringing me just the best stuff. Whenever we get to talk in Topaz about Scrapper 142, what do I always say? She is the... And it starts with a B.
Trash.
No, not trash. Were you just waiting to call her that? It doesn't start with a B.
Boozehead.
Jeff Goldblum, you absolute treasure. Did you forget Black Panther?
Did I? Maybe I did.
Wow.
I may have forgotten to do my movie homework for one of the movies we watched for Black Panther. I'll have to go in and insert it.
I think it's just Black Panther, too.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Unless you didn't watch it. Wow. I picked
No,
my
I
favorite.
absolutely rewatched it. I was with you guys.
Oh, that's true, yeah. My favorite line of I now present to you King T'Challa, the Black Panther.
He's going a place with that.
He is. I love it. Go as hard as you want to, Forrest.
I'll have to try and reinsert that. I actually forgot. Oh, well.
Can you think of a line you like from the movie?
Not right off the top of my head. Maybe the line, maybe what are those? Because that is such a fucking outdated meme. No, you know what it is? I think it's the thing I picked last time. Please don't tell me you have a rap album. I do, actually. I'll send you the link.
That was pretty good. You and I then watched Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Complicated feelings about that movie.
I believe we did a podcast on it
We
as
did
well.
an entire podcast about it. I ranted about Raiden's Squarehead.
My line was, wah, wah.
Mine was, did you make that last part up? It just kind of sounds like you made it up. And look, they spelled it wrong. That was an alright film. It was okay. Next up, Infinity War.
Which we've talked about many, many times on the podcast. So just my line, which is, it'll kill you. Only if I die. Yes, that's what killing you means.
I chose Wong, you're invited to my wedding. Because Wong deserves all the credit in the world. He is the Sorcerer Supreme, after all.
And then we watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is a very fun movie.
It is. Better than Aquaman.
Yeah.
I picked You Can Do It. You can do anything. You're the world's greatest grandma.
And I picked literally the same thing I picked the first time, and probably what I'll pick every time I watch this movie. It is Truth Serum.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is so fun. A lot of these are good because we did the podcast on them. You guys can go check it out. We can just kind of blaze past. I watched a short film called Lights Out again. It's creepy as fuck. The quote I chose was,
Fair enough. You might need to reload your list there. Apparently
I might.
It's broken after
it's
that.
from 2013 is the Lights Out movie. Man, if Facebook went down while we were recording specifically this podcast,
The one podcast we need it for. That would be sad and hilarious at the same time.
that is okay. I can go by what we do have. Next film we watch together.
Next film is Avengers Endgame, which is part of the journey is the end. I literally made a computer background out of that phrase.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. You took everything from me. I don't even know who you are. You will.
Big balls on that.
Oh, yeah. I like how... So this is a thing, and a brief aside. Facebook lists in text what it thinks the movie might be, or what the image might be. So you get fun shit of maybe an image of sky and text that says lights out. Maybe an image of one or more people. Maybe an image of one or more people and people standing.
Oof.
Oh, well, whatever. Let's see. Our next film, wow. Yeah, the lead up got to that point. So we actually saw a new movie in theaters.
We missed Captain Marvel and Spider-Man Far From Home, but we watched the entirety of the rest of the MCU in the lead up to Black Widow. Mine was, get the ranch for your father.
I think that was mine, actually.
Actually, yeah.
No, yeah, you had to choose a
yes, that's right. That was
line.
Yours was the ranch line, which is great because it sets the beginning of the movie in Ohio, and that is the most Ohio goddamn sentence.
I was proud of it. I was so proud of it.
Mine is, I like your vest. I know, right? It's so cool.
That character had a big impact on you this year, I feel. Good character.
Good character. Yelena, great.
We did do a full podcast on Black Widow as well, so y'all can find
you can hear me rant about how great Florence Pugh is in that as well.
I'm trying to catch up to my shit again. Hold on, sorry.
It's okay, Beetlejuice. It's good to have you here.
There we go. Okay. I actually did watch Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I had heard a theory, I think I had heard it. I hadn't come up with it on my own. That it was a children's movie.
Like more so than your standard MCU?
Yes. And so I went back and rewatched it with that in mind, and I think it is absolutely 100% correct. I don't think Captain Marvel is a great film in comparison with the rest of the MCU, but if it is just trying to be an aspirational film for young people and young women especially, great. It's fine.
It's the best version of Captain Marvel that exists. Carol, while a little insufferable in that movie, is a humongous, irredeemable bitch in every other version of her, so great job, I guess.
Sure. The quote I picked was, I have nothing to prove to you. Then I watched Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Yeah, you did.
That film was okay. The quote I chose was, this is crazy. Look, I was on my phone, right? I was getting on the elevator. Wait a minute. Did I fall down the elevator shaft? Ernie, are we dead? Is this what heaven looks like?
Was that LeBron James?
No. It was a guy who was doing commentary for the big Space Jam basketball match. Don Cheadle is devouring the scenery in this movie.
As he should.
If you feel like taking, I don't know, an hour and a half out of your life to watch a mediocre children's film so that you can enjoy Don Cheadle playing an evil villain over the fucking top, then you've got Space Jam: A New Legacy.
I might.
I watched Corridors of Blood because I wrote a book this year. I don't know if y'all know, link in the description, along with the rest of my books. And I wanted to make a reference to a movie that I knew mostly from a Rob Zombie song. But I wanted to watch the movie first to make sure the reference I was making
made sense and didn't just not make sense because Rob Zombie song.
It was an alright movie. I am not one of those people who blindly celebrates the
aged.
What do they call it? Pre-code cinema?
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
Yeah. It was alright. Some good performances from Christopher Lee and a couple of other actors. Pain and the knife are inseparable is the quote I chose for Corridors of Blood from 1958. And we meet on, yes, that is correct, our beautiful title card image.
Streets of Fire from 1984. This is the movie that his girlfriend was like, this reminds me of blank, Streets of Fire, which neither of us had ever heard of, but it sure fucking looks like the Proto-Men have.
Absolutely did. They cited this and Eddie and the Cruisers as formative for their interpretation of the Mega Man universe and their desire to do a rock opera.
This movie fucking rules. Like, this movie is from the 80s. It is, so there are parts of it that are a little dated, I guess.
Yeah.
But, like, aside from that, it aged incredibly well. The performances are all really fun. It feels... All right, so there's a pattern I've noticed about myself, which is every time I watch a movie I really love, I start thinking about it in terms, especially if it's something I haven't seen before, like a new property, I start thinking about it in terms of role-playing games. And if my brain naturally starts trying to go, yeah, you could make this into a role-playing game, here's what all the characters would be, here's what the player characters would be like, here's what you would do, then I know that the movie has sparked something. I know it's good. I know it's got it's got legs. And boy howdy, does Streets of Fire make me want to play a game set in its universe. Because it's just, it's so gritty and down to earth. It's
and
like,
at the same time over the top.
I would call it like greaser punk.
Yeah.
It's like 1950s meets like that cyberpunk sort of a surface level patina of a specific era underneath like social commentary sort of vibe. I picked a quote from the song at, I believe it's the beginning of the movie. There's nothing wrong with going nowhere, baby, but we should be going nowhere fast.
I'm a soldier. At least I was up until about a year ago. Ran out of wars.
Fucking
That's some good fucking 80s action shit. And my dumbass clicked away from my position. Oh, my images are back somehow. Facebook.
Facebook is really freaking the fuck out.
This has been Facebook's year in a nutshell. I believe we are aligned on this. Yes, man.
Redemption story for me. I finally did it, listener. I believe we did a podcast about this.
We've done a couple, I believe. Yeah.
But I finally got over my stupid fanboy bullshit and watched Birds of Prey. I was so mad about what they did to Cassandra Cain. But in its place, they gave me Urchin. Terrible Urchin What Steals. My other favorite character.
And there was a bow girl to soften the blow.
A little bit. It's a crossbow. It's very different. The quote I picked was, for what it's worth, you made me want to be less of a terrible person.
I picked, I underestimated you and I'm sorry. I'm used to it. Yep, and we watched that leading into The Suicide Squad. We did a full podcast on this, baby. Rats the lowliest and most despised of all creatures, my love. But if they have purpose, so do we all.
I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
Looking forward to that show.
Oh yeah, Peacemaker's gonna be great.
We did a full podcast on this, so if you want our extended thoughts, you can go there and find them. Wow, I picked a tiny picture for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
You probably wanted a specific picture of the character, and at the time there were not many.
No, there weren't.
The quote I picked was, we should do that. Or...
I went with just or. We pick these entirely separate from one another.
We make a point to not tell each other what we're picking.
Yeah, same thing for images and for quotes. Like, for a while we coordinated so we didn't overlap, but then it was funnier to see when we picked the exact same shit. So, away from you, I watched Friday the 13th from 1980. You're doomed. You're all doomed. Great movie. If you've never seen it, go in blind, please. That was another good thing. Talk about my girlfriend a lot here, but she didn't know about the twist.
Which is how?
I know, right?
How? But I'm so happy for her.
Yes, it was, and it played so well. We then watched My Bloody Valentine, the 2009 remake, which wasn't as bad as people said it was, much like the Batman v Superman Martha line. Eloquent, Sheriff, you made us look like an inbred mining community. We are an inbred mining community, Ben.
Well, fucking Sheriff's on it.
And then together, after all these years, we finally watched Mazes and Monsters from 1982, Tom Hanks' debut film role about the perils of Dungeons and Dragons addiction.
A movie we have been quoting at each other since we've known each other, and neither one of us had actually watched.
It was really this bizarre journey because, like, a bunch of its quotes were on an old Jumpsteady album, and they were really funny, and I ended up looking them up, or maybe I was watching a review of the movie and started hearing them and was like, oh my god, this is the thing.
This is the thing. This is where the sonar line comes from.
Yeah.
It's right up there with the dead AOIs in quotable D&D memes. Mm-hmm. And therefore, I had to pick Beware the Sacrilege.
I chose JJ. That was really stupid, jumping into the pit without using your sonar first.
Really stupid.
Which JJ was playing them all. JJ had an ulterior motive.
In universe, like it's so that's the shit that you get, man. Watching the actual movie, you find out it was a rig. It was a work. JJ killed himself on purpose.
That was a really long, weird PSA.
God, it was so fucking weird. It wasn't good, but watch it.
JJ wore hats all the time, but different weird fucking hats.
And then like not. He wore weird out of place hats for half the movie and then stopped and they fucking just didn't comment on it.
Also,
ever.
We watched this on Hulu and it cut off before the end of the movie.
Like Phoebe's mom, it cut off before the big sad downer twist at the end of the movie.
It was amazing.
Like Hulu shut the movie off. That movie over. We had to go find it on YouTube to get the actual really sad, shitty downer twist at the end of the movie.
Oh, it was fun. Great time. I'd recommend it if you have a lot of time to be bored.
It's not good.
No, it's not.
Fucking watch it though. It's great.
We were desperate for a Halloween movie to watch on October 25th, so we checked out Hush from 2016. It's important that I mention it's from 2016 because there are like 5 other films called Hush. The quote I chose was...
And the quote I chose was, "Do it, coward."
This was a cool movie.
Yeah, this is a good execution on a fun premise.
I think later that night, or no, a week later.
We watched Dune, another thing we did a whole podcast on.
Yes.
So I chose, for my quote, "You put on some muscle?" Did I? No.
And I picked... A great man doesn't seek to lead, he is called to it. But if your answer is no, you'd still be the only thing I ever needed you to be, my son.
I picked the only joke in that movie.
Then I watched the original Dune from 1984. It isn't good. The quote I chose was, "I did not say this, I am not here." To perhaps exemplify that it isn't good. The image I chose is Patrick Stewart firing a minigun while holding a pug.
That is good.
Yes, that was very good. And then we did another big rewatch that we kind of didn't really have planned to, be timely.
No, it was just a friend hadn't ever seen these, and we were like, well, that can't stand. So we decided to rewatch the Lord of the Rings movies. Theatrical cuts, because if you're introducing someone new to the trilogy, theatrical cuts, especially if they haven't read the books...
Don't inspire nap time.
Don't give them the 4-hour cut of a Fellowship to start them off.
I'm really sad.
You want them to like the movie.
I'm really sad I have to do the title cards in advance because I would put this dude on the title card because what the fuck is Emperor Palpatine doing here?
He's one of Boromir's homies, and you never see him again.
No.
My quote was, "I made a promise, Mr. Frodo. A promise. Don't you leave him, Samwise Gamgee. And I don't mean to. I don't mean to."
I picked Be at Peace, Son of Gondor.
Yeah.
Because I foolishly thought I was going to get through Fellowship without bawling like a child.
I knew what was going to happen. I knew.
Then we saw another movie in the theater, Eternals. We did a review of that on the podcast. Droog sucks.
Which is just still true, by the way.
I don't know, he's a complicated character.
And I chose Karun. Did you get that? Yes, I did, sir.
Let's see here. I don't think we watched a lot of movies separate from this point onward. We checked out the next Lord of the Rings movie, The Two Towers.
You know what? Do yours first because yours leads into mine.
Well, shit, it does. I'm going to try not to get emotional. And believe in the me that believes in me. I know it's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't have even been here, but we are. It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were, and sometimes you didn't want to know how they end. Because how could they end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was, when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun shines, it will shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something, even if you were too small to understand why. 1 second. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going, because they were holding on to something. What are we holding on to, Sam? That there's still some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for.
My quote was, well, you've left out one of the chief characters, Samwise the Brave. I want to hear more about Sam. Frodo wouldn't have got very far without Sam.
We did a whole podcast about Lord of the Rings, where I once again forgot which part of the books Tom Bombadil was in. It will never not happen.
Then we watched Return of the King. My quote was, I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
And I chose the board is set, the pieces are moving. Which is just a cool fucking thing to say.
Yeah, it was. And then you watched the movie without me.
I did. I have never seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation from 1989. And I wish I had watched it when I was a kid because I think I would have liked it a lot more. The humor doesn't age well, just because we have different sensibilities. But not even like, they say some sketchy stuff that's mean now. No, not like that. There may be a couple of things, but mostly it's just that, at least for me, I'm not as into like, the slapstick humor. It has to be really well done for me to enjoy it, or even the type of spoken comedy they do here. But the quote I chose was, and there's an interesting, for y'all who have seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is, I have to imagine most of you, their grandma or aunt has Alzheimer's, something fierce. So she keeps forgetting what's going on and who's there and et cetera, et cetera. So when there's a bunch of like fireworks going off at the end because of all the crazy shit happening, instead of singing a Christmas song, she starts singing the national anthem. At the end of which she shouts, "Play ball," like you do at a baseball game. Mm-hmm. My mother had been doing this for the last 36 years. Well, not that long. Came out in 1989. Let's say 30 years. And I did not realize it was a reference. And I laughed so fucking hard.
Are you telling me your mom landed a brick joke on you from 30 years in the past?
Yes.
Fucking king shit. Yes. I'm a high five her next time I see her.
She will not understand why. But and the movie we're closing out the year with.
The last movie of the year. And goddamn, what a way to close out the year. Spider-Man, No Way Home. My line? Oh yeah, no, I got a middle back thing too. Really? Yeah. You want to crack it? Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
Perfect.
We have also just last week done a full review of Spider-Man No Way Home. If you want to hear our thoughts, you can go there to find out. Another year of movies that we love so much. A big return to theaters, which I felt was very important and fun.
And we'll do this again next year, provided that the world doesn't come crashing down around our ears.
Why would you say that evil?
Prepare for disappointment, and you'll never be disappointed. Everything's better when nerds talk about it. Fuck it!